A new state-run marijuana testing center is coming to mid-Missouri. How it hopes to regulate the growing industry.
First alert radar lighting up with storms in eastern Kansas, western Missouri. These are still hours away from us, but will bring us the potential of strong to severe storms. The latest in my first alert forecast.
I got so much feedback from the community and my family and friends and neighbors. It has held me and has kept me going.
A story of a mid-Missouri musician and her winning battle against breast cancer. This is KMU8 News at 6.
Coverage you can count on. KOMU8 News starts now.
Warm temperatures and high winds are blowing in some major changes. Good evening, everyone. I'm Evie Allen.
And I'm Taylor Freeman. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We're going to check in with Chief Meteorologist Matt Beckwith. So, Matt, what can we expect later tonight and for the rest of the week?
We can expect storms to get in the western part of our viewing area around 9 p.m. These are going to be weakening as they move into mid-Missouri, but the key question is how much will they weaken? And that's something we're not going to know until it happens for sure. Those showers and storms now into eastern Kansas, northwest Missouri, and if you actually look just to the north of Kansas City, we do have the first severe thunderstorm warnings and the first even tornado warning of the evening at 3 a.m. at the latest. We'll have the full track and timeline and my full first alert forecast.
Thank you, Matt. Fire crews responded to a brush fire this afternoon that spread over 2 acres and threatened nearby homes. Firefighters say it started from embers of an earlier trash burn and spread off Dripping Springs Road north of Columbia. Crews contained the fire with a line around the affected area, but say there is still a risk of it reigniting if wind conditions shift. Officials recommend postponing any planned burns.
If people are planning on burning, they shouldn't. We're supposed to get some rain tonight, which will help. But it's pretty tender dry right now, and if people have plans to do any burning this evening, I would hold off until we get some rain.
Assistant Fire Chief Gail Blooming-Camp says no one was injured and there was no damage to nearby homes or structures.
A new marijuana testing lab is coming to Jefferson City. The lab will test to make sure more than $1 billion worth of marijuana products are safe before they're sold.
KMU8's Braden Day is here to tell us about Missouri's need for this lab. Braden.
Missouri currently has 10 independent facilities already testing marijuana products. Now the state will spend more than $6 million to begin running its own testing lab. Officials say it's the only way to confirm cannabis products remain safe. The new testing lab will operate out of the State Public Health Laboratory in Jefferson City. The new lab is expected to be fully operational as early as fall of 2025. Reporting in the studio, Braden Day, KOMU8 News.
All right, thank you, Braden. Boone County Jail booked one of the suspects involved in a deadly robbery. 18-year-old Julius Mosby is one of 3 people charged with felony murder in connection to the death of Taquan Reed. Police found Reed seriously injured while responding to reports of a crash and gunfire at Boyd Lane on October 10th. Reed later died in a hospital.
And if you haven't been paying to park downtown, you might want to reconsider. Columbia Public Works is building up its parking enforcement team.
KMU8's Royce Griffin is live downtown with an update on what parking enforcement officers are doing. Royce.
Public Works took over parking enforcement from Columbia Police 2 weeks ago. Today, officers are handing out warnings to those who don't pay their parking meters or let them expire. Right now, the city has 1 officer and is looking to hire 3 more. That 1 officer started doing rounds today to check parking meters and parking garages. There won't be any tickets yet, but there will be warning citations. The officer will put warning citations in the window of cars that have gone over their allotted times or simply did not pay. A Public Works spokesperson says this enforcement is important because it ensures parking is available to all.
And is issuing warning citations. Now, these citations carry no fines, but we encourage people to start obeying parking regulations for the coming future, just because one day those citations will actually have fines, and that day could be coming soon.
Ogun says those warnings are just that and wouldn't say when those will change into real tickets. Parking is enforced from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the meters and in the city garages from Monday to Saturday. Live from downtown, Royce Griffin, KOMU8 News.
All right, thanks, Royce. From the hospital room to the stage, hear the story of one mid-Missouri musician and her fight against breast cancer.
And why more than 33,000 pickup trucks are being recalled.
And here's the breakdown of those threats with our storm mode index this evening. There could be some issues, most likely with some strong winds. Wind gusts of 40 to 60 miles per hour possible. We'll continue to track it here on KOMU 8.
Never be surprised by the weather. Download the free KOMU.
The U.S. economy grew in the third quarter of 2024, but at a slower rate than last quarter. The Department of Commerce reports the gross domestic product grew 2.8%. The report shows the economy is still growing, but slightly less than the 3.1% economists predicted.
More than 250,000 readers have now canceled their Washington Post subscriptions. The newspaper announced it would not make an endorsement in the presidential race last week. And that's roughly 10% of the paper's digital subscribers. 3 members of the editorial board have also resigned. Jeff Bezos, the owner of the Washington Post, said an endorsement would make the newspaper seem biased. And more than 33,000 Dodge Ram 1500 pickup trucks are being recalled over stability issues. Chrysler says the system that keeps the trucks from losing control in critical driving situations could fail. The recall impacts certain 2025 models. For the fix, owners can go to a local dealership free of cost.
Up next, how one local musician battled to get back on stage.
And our low temperature this morning of 68. If this holds to 11:59 p.m., it would be another record warmest low. We broke one of those yesterday. 82 our high, very well shy of the record. Still very warm. We're tracking those storms in my full first alert forecast next.
As Breast Cancer Awareness Month comes to an end, one Mid-Missouri musician is sharing her survival story.
KOMU 8's Taylor Brooks shows us the steps Ruth Acuff's taken to get back on stage and who's been behind her all the way. Taylor.
The color pink represents breast cancer awareness, and for Ruth Acuff, the color means a little more. She's in a Pink Floyd tribute band. She can be seen wearing a pink wig, and she's a stage 3 breast cancer survivor. That is a sound of relief for Ruth Acuff. Ruth is still on the road to recovery, but the scans are showing no evidence of cancer in her body. In the studio, Taylor Brooks, KOMU 8 News.
Our storm mode index from 9 p.m. tonight to 3 a.m. tomorrow, it's at a level 2 on the 0 to 5 scale. That means there could be some issues. You'll want to stay updated, and a great way to do that is the KOMU 8 First Alert weather app. We're going to be sending updates there. I'll send one here right after we end the 6 o'clock newscast before 7 p.m. Season during the fall.
True?
That is true. We get those big temperature changes, the big clash of the seasons. That's usually a recipe for some thunderstorms.
All right. Well, will Brady be back this season? We've got a health update on the Mizzou fans, or what Mizzou fans have been waiting for. That's next in sports.
Now, from the Ford Sports Desk, KOMU 8 Sports.
The doomsday scenario of losing quarterback Brady Cook for the rest of the season that had worried so many Mizzou fans after Cook was knocked out of a second straight game last Saturday is apparently off the table. That is sports, and we're back to wrap up KOMU 8 News at 6 in just a moment.
Here's a look at what we're following for KOMU 8 News at 10 o'clock. Some call it a necessary fix.
But others say it's a step backwards. We'll break down what you need to know about Amendment 6.
Our storm mode index out of 2 from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. What we're watching is some storms that are going to be moving east. Wind is the primary concern, as these storms will be starting to weaken as they move our direction. 40 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts, the primary threat. The hail threat, the tornado threat, it's low, but it's not zero. So that's something we're going to be watching closely here. We want to remind you that you can download the KOMU 8 First Alert weather app to get the latest information. We'll send out a video here with my latest analysis before 7 o'clock. You can get that by scanning the QR code on your screen. You can also sign up to get weather alerts for your location. So it's a good way to stay safe. One of the ways we preach preparedness is to have multiple ways to get information. That's a good one that's free.
All right. See you back here tonight.
Download the